Today, we have Mr. Giridhar Kunkur, who will talk to us about how to raise user experience to excel in academic libraries. I now take this privilege to introduce Mr. Kunkur. Sir has had over 39 years of rich experience in offering modern and custom-oriented library and information services. He is presently working as a librarian at Birla Institute of Technology and Science, Pilani, and is known for effectively transforming the BITS library and has held the position of the Chief Publication and Media Relations Unit in the Institute. Under his leadership, the BITS Pilani Library has received the Wiley's Digital Transformed Academic Library 2019 Award under the non-government category. Prior to this, he was the head of the Learning Resource Center at the Wellinkar Institute of Management Development and Research at Mumbai, where he was instrumental in revamping and redesigning the library to go with the modern trends to increase the visibility and usage of the online and physical resources, and was awarded Customer Service Award, Success Award for the best practice through technology innovation by EXCO in appreciation of the demonstrated efforts to share successful initiatives with the community. For 24 years, Mr. Kunkur worked with the British Council Libraries in India in various capacities. He successfully served as the head Library and Information Services, West India, British Council, Mumbai, which was busiest amongst the British Council libraries in the world. As a regional head, he was responsible for effective functioning of the British libraries in Pune and Ahmedabad. He also worked as manager of the British Library Bhopal for 7 years. For nearly 3 years, he has served as the director programs for QMed Knowledge Foundation, an NGO which works in a niche area of medical education and research in Mumbai. Sir has published many papers and has delivered talks as invited speaker in various national and international conferences and workshops. He has visited many countries such as USA, UK, Germany, France, South Korea, Sri Lanka, and many more, and has had a professional interaction with many libraries there. On behalf of the organizing committee, I welcome you, sir, to deliver your talk today. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you very much. I'll try to share my PPT with all of you. Are you able to see this PPT? Are you able to see the PPT?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much for that introduction. Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon. I hope I'm audible enough to everyone out there.
Yes.
First of all, I would like to thank Ms. Madhavi Wadkar, Senior Librarian, Institute of Chemical Technology, and Vivekananda Education Society for giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts during today's webinar, especially when we are all confined to our homes for very close to 4 months now, doing quite a few things, perhaps which we may not have done earlier, and trying to be as productive as possible and looking forward to working in our respective libraries soon. The topic that is given to me for today's webinar is Raise User Experience to Excel in Academic Libraries, a case study of BITS Pilani Library. It's a practical approach. I'll be spending about 15 minutes, sharing my thoughts, my experience, how I was able to engage the users in BITS Pilani Library, and the kind of attempts that we have made to enhance their experience using the library. So End of my talk, perhaps we'll spend some time on question and answer session. When we talk about user experience broadly, we can categorize into one that is associated with the physical environment, physical spaces of the library, and the other one, of course, is associated with the digital experience of the library, like digital library, online access, so on and so forth. And there's so much that is being discussed through webinars and through other platforms on digital aspect of the library. So I will skip that aspect mainly because of the time constraint, and focus on the physical aspect of user experience. Just to establish more clarity on the user experience, I would like to take you through a definition of user experience. User experience, UX, is the totality of end users' perceptions as they interact with a product or service. These perceptions include effectiveness of the system, that means how good is the result, and efficiency of, we can say, the library, how fast it is, and the emotional satisfaction of the users, that means how good does it feel to them, and the quality of the relationship with the entity that created the product or service, which means what expectation does it create for subsequent interactions with the users in the library. So I found this definition fairly apt in a library context, which is defined by Mike Kuniowski. User experience is motivated by a call to actively pay close attention to users' unique and distinctive requirements, which allows libraries to more effectively design services for their communities. It focuses primarily on the users, services, problem solving, participation, and collaboration. And notably, it is related to the human-centered design, service design, and participatory design. So there are quite a few factors influencing user experience, and let us have a look at them. And actually, in the past over 20 years, the user experience has increased in importance for academic libraries. So these recognized factors of user experiences are: how useful is the library from the user's point of view? That means users come to the library with a particular purpose, be it for serious research or reading for personal or academic growth, or to have some kind of interaction, collaboration, or to have brainstorming with some people, and also to use some interesting spaces created by the library, or just to hang out. And another one is how usable is the library from the library's point of view. That means users should be able to achieve their object use when they visit the library. For example, if a student is visiting to check out books, then how usable is our circulation processes are. How they check out books in the library. Is there a self-checkout system? How easy, quick, and efficient is the system, and does it require any staff intervention, etc., etc. And the third one is desirable. How desirable is the library? That means the way we have presented our library, the overall presentation of the library, the kind of displays that we make, and the seating arrangements, how comfortable is the library for our users, is environment clean and attractive enough for them, and are staff members well informed and helpful, and whether necessary IT infrastructure is in place or not. And how findable is the library? Another very important factor, which means can users find what they are trying to locate in the library easily without anybody's help? And have we ensured enough directions and instructions which are concise and clear to them? And another very important aspect is how accessible is the library. That means, are there any obstacles? Make sure that everything is wheelchair accessible, have clear path for fire drills and other emergencies, and do not, for example, place your books too high or too low for people to access. Okay. And finally, how credible is the library for the users? That means when they come to the library, they need to trust the librarians. They need to have the freedom to read and do other academic research and innovative work in the library. And the most important is we must ensure their privacy. All right. So these are some of the very important factors that influence the user experience. And now let us look at the library space planning that was there in the past and what it should be in the present. Now, looking back, the previous generation of the library planners, they used to enjoy some kind of, the good old days. That time the library space planning was predominantly driven by the concern for printed material. The storage came first, followed by other space intensive print related needs of the library, such as shelving. You all will agree the amount of space it takes in the library. And catalog, the remember the good old days card catalogs that we used to have, and they used to occupy quite a lot of space right at the entrance of the library, and various spaces that we had created, and they are still there for carrying out various processes like book processing work and classification, cataloging, and things like that. Okay, so they also occupy a lot of space in the library, and of course, the very significant activity of the library is the circulation. So the library design responded by becoming increasingly industrial in its approach. Okay, that time the efficiency in the print management was standard for success. From the start of 20th century, right through mid of 1990s, the main purpose of the academic library was the curation of their collection. This particular role of the library, that is the curation of collection, was so significant that the reputation of the institution or university was measured in terms of the size, breadth, and width of its collection. But this particular criteria is no longer a true representation of the academic library now. Our collection is important, but it is not some of the library. When we talk about collection, the rapid decline in the print over the last more than 2 decades has taken the librarian by surprise, librarians across the world by surprise. And in the present day, the libraries are challenged to design the spaces to support users, which require awareness of a whole new set of variables, be it the pedagogical and the learning styles, and current and emerging new technologies that we engage in the library, and cultural expectations of our users, and of course the requirement of our own efforts to enhance the user experience. So to achieve this, the libraries are constantly redefining themselves. While librarians, there is some problem associated with the librarians. While they are flexible with what should I say, these services, and setting up a digital library, and other activities of the library such as reference services, they're all very comfortable in carrying out such major work in the library. But when it comes to changing the space or the physical environment in which they are working, it is indeed a very, very difficult task for them, mainly because it requires a lot of efforts to convince the authorities and the decision makers in academic institutions. It is not so easy. Okay, so to overcome this difficulty, we must actually undertake activities with minimal investment of resources in order to get the approval from the authorities. And for this, the librarians must design services and spaces in the library to ensure that it enhances user experience and engages the entire user community. Now, we just cannot focus only on the academic support, but must engage the user, what they think, what they feel, and the meaning that they construct in their lives. Okay, that is very, very important. So, Therefore, the user experience of physical spaces is very, very important because they view such facilities as very, very crucial for their academic research and project related activities. Uh, of late, the academic libraries are increasingly becoming sandboxes and central hub for students and collaborate and foster innovation and stay relevant. So for this, we librarians need to focus intently on providing spaces for experimentation, innovation, research, education, recreation, relaxation, stationery shopping, and also, if possible, making the provision for tea, coffee, and snacks. Now, you will question me, how can library have a stationery shop? Or how can library put up a tea and coffee and snacks stall in the library or a corner in the library? Well, yes. uh, you know when we talk, your question would be, it will attract the insects, it will attract the rodents, the cockroaches, and the aroma of tea and aroma of coffee will spoil the environment of the library. Many things may strike your mind, yes, but I'm telling you from my experience, it is all in our head. And uh, actually speaking, the ways in which the we librarians perceive and interact with the users and understand their needs is the key determinant of the library's success. And I'm telling you from my experience, in the last almost very close to a decade now, having implemented such facilities in in at least two academic libraries wherever I have worked, one in Mumbai, Velinkar Institute of Management Development and Research, and now in BITS Pilani. It is not impossible, it is just possible. It is the way we manage things here. Okay, right. See, the libraries got to be much, much more than the information repositories. Here, I'm primarily focusing on the collaboration that we need to have with our users, whether they are the faculty members or research scholars or the students, whoever. There should be a significant element of collaboration with them. Now, why collaboration for learning, and what is this collaboration? Collaboration is actually an approach that encourages students to create user groups and work together to solve a given problem. Now, there are good number of benefits that the learners get when they are working in a group setting, especially when such spaces allow flexible use and arrangement of furniture along with the necessary technology to encourage active learning. When we talk about active learning through collaborative means for the students, it enhances their social and problem-solving skills, and they learn from their peer groups, and it really builds their confidence because they are working in a group setting, and yeah, and it inspires their critical thinking capabilities, as well as it helps in their development of self-management. So these are quite significant as far as the students are concerned, and their whatever they can achieve through this collaborative learning. Now, why libraries for collaboration and learning? You may ask the question. Like, there are other places in our university or colleges or institutions wherever we are working. Like, there are laboratories, there are classrooms, there are student activity centers, or there may be other spaces like workshops and things like that where collaboration can happen. But why of all these places library? You see, let us not forget, as librarians, for the last over a decade, there is a decline in the footfalls in the library that we are experiencing, and that has set alarm bells ringing in the minds of the librarians. And we can actually see and compare our libraries, they were about 10 years ago and what they are now. And certainly the trend across the world is the less number of users are coming to the library, and we need to face this situation in order to reinvigorate the library. And it is time for all of us as librarians to exploit the potential of academic libraries and make them as critical resource for all. And learning does not necessarily mean reading books alone. For the younger generation, the generation Y, they are looking for many other platforms for active learning, be it like online educational courses that they want to participate, or the talks and deliberations and academic interactions, and they want to use audiovisual resources and some interesting spaces like maker spaces and other spaces that if libraries have created. They're all actually different methods that appeal to a variety of learning forms, and reading is just one form of learning. So therefore, as a librarian, it is our job to learn from our users what they expect from our libraries. So with this preamble, uh, you know, over the last almost about 2 years, we have been having very conscious, interactions with our users to get their feedback. For example, we had a very interesting brainstorm session with faculty members, research scholars, and the students on a topic called the things that make me happy in the library. Okay, and for this particular session, we had invited the director to chair the session. All right, and that was to commemorate the World Book and Copyright Day. And we, through these deliberation, we got a good amount of insight from these groups on how things and what things that make them really feel happy. And we had yet another interesting idea meet with the students on a topic creating inspiring spaces in the library. And, again, they were made to deliberate what kind of spaces that they are looking for that perhaps may inspire them in the library. So we wanted to get it from the horse's mouth. So this deliberation really helped us in noting down the kind of spaces that they were looking for. And very interesting, yet another activity that we, initiated was we made 150 students, to visit the library in one go with a task of mind mapping of the library. Okay, and this group of 150 students were led by one of the senior most faculty members from humanities and social science department. And what we did was, the task that was given to these 150 students was like they were supposed to take a tour of the library with their open mind, open eyes, and look at things which are not there. They were not supposed to comment on what is available in the library, but they were supposed to think out of the box and come out with a suggestion on just one thing that library, according to them, does not have. So each student was given a slip of paper, and at the end of their tour, after 1 hour, they were supposed to make just one recommendation according to them what is missing in the library. So after 1 hour, we got 150 recommendations, and we created an Excel sheet out of that, and it became a big shopping list for us as to what all can we implement in the library as a result of these recommendations. I'm not claiming that we could implement all these 150 recommendations. No, some of them could be, yes, easily implementable. We thought, without even having any kind of budget. Some required actually a lot of budget and space to be created and things like that. And some, yes, were not all that feasible, possible, but yes, we could think about how our users are really trying to, look at what library should have. That is amazing. So we are still working on that particular Excel sheet as a ready reckoner for us, to improve the library services. And another activity that we did was a brainstorm session with the faculty members, and the topic was creating collaborative spaces in the library to foster innovation. We bring in the innovative activities in the library environment, and that needed the support from the faculty members. Therefore, that collaboration was needed. So, and this was again chaired by the director of the BITS Pilani. Now, why did we engage director in such deliberations? In the earlier slide, I mentioned about the problems that normally faced by the librarians is to change the physical space, because it requires a lot of convincing effort by the librarians and to get approval and sanction from the authorities. When the director himself attends such sessions and when he listens to the users directly during such sessions, our effort of convincing really becomes very, very easy. In my last 6 years experience, for example, in Pilani, I'm telling you, as a matter of fact, I didn't have to really, struggle too much to get the approval from the authorities. And whatever we put up to make any changes in the library had a very quick approval. And we also keep on monitoring how users are experiencing the library through the personal interactions with them and feedback system that we have through the library portal. It is an ongoing survey with the users, and it also gives us the analytics of who says what, and it really gives very good insight into what our users expect from the library. Now, as a result of these interactions and based on the feedback, we realize that our users prefer inspiring spaces to participate in many collaborative activities in the library. And as an outcome, we were able to rethink about the existing spaces, which were not really used so very well, and converted them into collaborative spaces. Now, I will take you through some of the cases in the library. Okay, so you can see this picture. This is the space on the first floor of the library at measuring 20 feet by 40 feet, and this was our audio visual room. Okay, to tell you very frankly, this space was not really used very well by the users. We used to use this particular room for holding the library committee meeting and the library staff meeting, and once in a while students used to come and ask us, sir, can we use this space for having some kind of discussions, meetings and things like that. We used to give them. We used to maintain register there, and they used to enter for what purpose they were using and all that. So we thought, why cannot we really convert this into a collaborative space? So we spent a great deal of time in conceptualizing how this space could be made as an attractive place for the users, especially for the students. And we also wanted to bring in the elements like the LED projector, the automated screen, the sound system, internet connection, Wi-Fi, and microphone, collar mic. And also this particular space has got a very beautiful and very huge balcony overseeing a beautiful a park outside. So we thought, why cannot we make that balcony space to be used by the user during their tea, coffee break? They can use that. So yes, a lot of thinking went behind, and we also looked at the design, interior design part of it and all that. So we decided, and yes, we implemented also. So this is how it is now converted as a brainstorm room in the library. And the space, which was once upon a time a dormant space, has become, I should say, a vibrant place, because it is being booked. We promoted this space very well through in the campus, through mails, through posters, flyers, and things like that. And this space can be booked online through the library portal. So I would like to tell you the quick statistics of the usage of this particular space ever since we inaugurated. Prior to the renovation, 2 years I'm talking about, before the renovation, we had maintained that register which I mentioned. Just about 800 staff and students had utilized this particular service over the period of 2 years. Okay, after the renovation, in the last 2 years, nearly 20,000 students have used this particular space. I'm not at all exaggerating. I wish I could take you through the online booking system which is available, but because of time constraint, I cannot. But this room is being booked back to back every day, morning till evening, until late night sometimes, and it is used for various purposes like workshops, webinars, video screenings, presentations, lectures, group discussions, brainstorm, book talks, and many things, like the students. And we have every single, incident of every single deliberation with the library that is available. If anybody wants to know, we can tell. Okay. Now I will tell you another case, a study of the library. This is a space. You can figure out that this is a bound volume section. It is called hall number 4 in the library. Pretty big, it's a, what you see here, equal amount of shells are on the other side also. So it's a very big hall. And what happened was on 11th of September, in 2018, while some of our, the support staff, they were trying to create some space in one of the front shelves here, okay, to accommodate the newly bound volumes there. So they pulled out the old ones and they were trying to put the new ones over there. And because of the weakness of the shelf and because of the heaviness of the bound volumes, what happened is, unfortunately, it lost its balance and it fell on the other side. So when it fell on the other side, it had a cascading effect, and that as a like a pack of cards, all 12 rows of shells, they fell onto the ground. And that was the scene when it happened. It was indeed a very, very unfortunate and misfortune for the library. But then we looked at it, this particular misfortune, as an opportunity. Unfortunately, no one was hurt in this. It really took us almost about 20 days to put back the shells on their feet, and some of them had to be repaired. Fortunately, the bound volumes were not really damaged so much, and the most important thing was no one was there in between the shells. Otherwise, that could have been a disaster. Right. So what we did, we took this as an opportunity, and we reworked on the layout of this particular space, and decided to create some space by taking out some of the shells to another area. Okay, so we created a lot of space in the front portion of the hall, and in our library, earlier we did not have an exclusive space for research scholars and for faculty members to carry out their research work in the library. So we decided that we'll create a research zone, it is an air conditioned room with a better ambience and flexible seating arrangement to carry out so many activities related to research, such as pre-thesis discussion seminar for all PhD scholars, and even for faculty members to use it for research presentations. And also they can have interaction with other research institutions using LED monitor, using the video conferencing like what we are having now. And the display of latest faculty research publications. The BITS Pilani brings out very frequently research at BITS publication. And also we thought of shifting last year's research thesis into this particular area. And also the most important books associated with the current research that is happening in BITS Pilani, we wanted to shift them from the normal shelves, in the main shelves, to the research zone. So all this we decided to do, and we also made it flexible so that it could be used either as a classroom or for a serious work, so that it can be used for multiple purposes. So this is what the research zone currently is. You can figure out this research zone has come exactly in the same place where the shells had fallen. Okay, now to tell you, this bound volume section, hall number 4, in my last 6 years experience, I'm telling you, I had not seen even a single soul entering that hall number 4, because nobody would like to refer to these bound volumes any longer now, because everyone wants to get everything digital and the digital archives of the the journals and things like that. So, and we have enough of it in the library. So nobody used to go into that particular area. But after creation of this research zone, we can see a lot of things that are happening in that area, and lots of research scholars and faculty members are using this particular space, and this is also can be booked online by the research scholars. So there are many spaces in the library which we have made it like a bookable space by the users. Okay, so now bang opposite research zone, we also created equal amount of space, and there we set up an innovation zone. And this is an outcome of one of those deliberations which I mentioned, with our faculty members, uh, to trigger innovative activities in the campus, in the library, and things like that. So, this innovation zone is primarily meant for students with the possible support and guidance from the faculty members, and to use it as a space for creative and innovative activities. And this space is expected to provide opportunities for students to learn and develop new skills. It fuels engagement, creativity, and curiosity at the same time. And what we have done is we have made this as a student-driven space, and supervised by the library staff. I will tell about this particular students club later in the next slide. And in this space, we have installed 4 dedicated computers which are loaded with design and simulation software packages. And this is the list of design and simulation software packages that are installed in those computers. Some of them are institute licensed, like ANSYS, Fusion 360, MATLAB, and all that. Some of them are open source softwares like LT-Spice, Maya, Arduino, Unity Engine, and things like that. And some of them are, paid softwares like Adobe Premiere Pro, Simplify, 3D, and all that. Okay. Now, this space, though by appearance looks a bit small, but not really small, it is quite appealing, welcoming, and resourceful for the students, and it has become a hub for the innovation activities. And as a result of this innovation club, we are now able to connect and engage and collaborate with incubation cell at the institute, and we hold many activities in collaboration with incubation cell. So it has given us many avenues to bring in innovative things, innovative initiatives in the library. And again, this room is available for online booking. I wish I had a chance to take you through how this online booking happens. That is interesting, but because of lack of time, I'll skip that. And as a part of this innovation zone, we made another section there, and we call it as Makerspace. And perhaps you all must have heard about Makerspace, and some of you might be having them. And it is a collaborative space where people work on innovative projects and churn out solutions to different problems. It provides access to various resources which aid in design, prototype, and realization of solutions. And in this particular space, we have provided access to resources like 3D printer. There is a 3D printer there, and a high performance computer, and so many electronic gadgets we have provided there, including hardware and hardware devices. And they are actually Internet of Things, and the workbenches and all that. Now, the students actually come there to work on their prototypes. They design certain things using these electronic small gadgets. It's not like a workshop, big workshop, but we maintain all safety measures over there so that they can do many things. Okay, the objective is primarily to nurture ideas and give students community freedom to brainstorm, iterate, and innovate. Now, I talked about the students club. It is called, the club's name is SRISHTARA. The one enthusiastic students group, themselves, they formed a club and they named it as SRISHTARA. SRISHTARA means creator in Sanskrit. This club is dedicated to build, maintain, and reinforce the innovation zone and makerspace in the library, which aims at catalyzing the creative activities in the campus. And they provide all kinds of supports, training, and how to use 3D printer. How to use high performance computer. They have been trained, so they train others. So there are quite a lot of workshops that we conduct as a part of this particular space. We have a clear vision for this particular space. We have a mission statement for this particular space, which you can perhaps see it later. And this space is also available for online booking. And it is heavily booked, heavily used by the students, I'm telling you. And another interesting space that we have created just prior to the lockdown, just 1 month before the lockdown, we created a new space in the library called e-interview Carol. you know Now what I'm telling you may be the same situation in most of the colleges, universities, wherever you are all working. you know Perhaps we all experience many times, and we observe that the students many a times are not able to find appropriate space if they have an interview scheduled, or the video call for their either internship, placement, project related work, or research based matters using internet. They look for certain spaces. Okay, and it's easy to create that kind of a space in the library. And keeping this in mind, just 1 month prior to the lockdown, we created an isolated carrel with a computer equipped with a good quality camera, webcam, microphone, and LAN connectivity. And what we did was we installed all common video call software packages in this computer. And the students actually again can book this particular facility as per their convenience through the library portal. And this is not for personal use anyway. And interestingly, this e-interview Carol became so popular within a month's time. We just had 1 month prior to the lockdown. In that 1 month, we got 60 bookings back to back, and they were all very intensive interviews that they had with their either the future employers, or the research collaborators, or project related matters, and many things. They do it. They are, I mean, the student lot is very happy for having provided this particular space in the library. Okay, and another interesting space that we created is the young learners section in the library. Okay, so about 4.5 years back, actually, we set up this young learners section in the library for the benefit of the children of the faculty members and staff. Now, in my earlier slide, I mentioned about the how difficult it is to convince the authorities to have certain things changed in the library. I did face the resistance by the authorities. It was not an easy task for me. Okay, but they said, "Why do you want to start children's library? This is not a school library. Ours is an institute of higher education. How can you have a children's section in the university?" I said, "Sir, I mean, like, we had to really put it a stronger case, and we had to tell them how important it was to inculcate the reading habits among the children in our campus, because there were no good libraries available. And Pilani, being Pilani, it's a very small town. There are no good. They do not have exposure to good quality books and all that. So that I took as one of the main things. And another thing is, we told the authorities that when children come to the library, naturally they will be, I'm talking about children in the age group of 5 to almost like 15. So when children are in the age group of 5 to 8, naturally their parents would like to accompany them to the library, because we need to reduce their movements and control them, and so that they don't make noise and all that. So the parents are held responsible for that. So in order to control them, they come. So what happens is, like, because their children are coming, the faculty members are also started coming to the library. Okay, so we could hit two birds with one stone. And while the children are using the library, the faculty members spend time in the library, doing many activities related to their teaching and research and many other things. So ever since we have started this, it has become one of the most popular unit of the library. More than 144 faculty members have actually registered and are active members with along with their children. Now, more than 200 children are using this particular facility on a day-to-day basis, and resulting in a greater user experience. And it is not just running a small corner of a children's library. We organize so many events and activities for the children, and it is quite it has become a very again, I should say, a very vibrant area in the library. Now, I will tell you another case of how we were able to transform, the card catalog cabinets in the library, okay, and converted that into an e-zone. Now, I mentioned you again earlier that the card catalog cabinets, maybe many of you might be still having them in your library, and in our library also, right at the entrance, in two corners, at the in the lobby, huge space was dedicated for these catalog cabinets. And for our young current users, it was a strange piece of furniture. Nobody had even pulled a single drawer in the last almost about 10 to 15 years, ever since the OPAC has come into place. They don't even know, they don't enter in that area because they don't know what it is. So it is a strong piece, but we have to maintain that, like, dusting, cleaning, and things like that, but zero usage. So we decided, okay, we will shift the card catalog to some other area, and we will have a display of new arrivals of various subject-related books and things like that. When we did that, people started entering that particular area, browsing, borrowing, all that happened. But over the period of time, when we made a keen observation, it did not reach up to the level that we were expecting it to be. So therefore, we decided to change it to e-zone, providing access to online resources. We installed in one unit, we installed about 14 computers, and above each computer, you will see the posters associated with every single database, describing what they contain, how they can access, what are the benefits, and things like that. And this is one part of the library in the lobby. Same equal amount of space we have on the other side in the lobby. So they are called E-Zone 1 and E-Zone 2. So again, the space which was never used by anyone is now almost all the time occupied by the students. And again, a lot of appreciation, and when it comes to user experience, it is just wonderful for them, and they are sharing that with us. And now, what did we do with the old catalog cabinets? Okay, now I will tell you, the library catalog has got digital in every single case, in almost all whoever is attending this webinar. But that does not mean that all the old teakwood catalog card cabinets have been flung into the heap of history. So we can actually creatively convert them into useful and modern library furniture, like ottomans or bench sofas. We can convert them as coffee tables. We can convert them into cubicle stools and shelves for children's library, and center tables and reading tables, many things. Okay. Now, I will, this is the place where we had shifted and keeping the catalog cabinets one above the other in one corner of the library on the first floor, where nobody used to go there, and you can see the other side. So this is how the catalog cabinets were dumped without being of any use. And yes, it was a hard work by our predecessors. A lot of professional work had gone behind. So we become emotional with catalog cabinets, and we have a huge respect for this. But how long, because anyway we have given a better platform to access, and the usage point of view and all that. So we need to take a stern call on these furniture. So we took the proper approval from the authorities, and we decided that we will convert them into various pieces of furniture. I will take you through the transformation of these catalog cabinets quickly. So this is how we rip them off, and you can see them. And we converted them into cubicles and tables. Now the work is still in progress. Now very soon they will be polished very nicely, and they are all teakwood, very precious tables, which can be used for many useful purposes. You can see here the inside drawers were pulled out and they were made into nice cubicles like this, and then the actual cabinet was converted into a sofa kind of a thing. I'm showing you how it was prior, a skeleton of it, and and how it transformed, and finally with using foam and good cloth upholstery, we converted them into nice cubicles, and we put them in different places of the library, and things like that, for students to sit and have discussions, and sit and read, and the things like that. So they can be used in many corners, many areas of the library. You can see them. This is in the formation of a big sofa, so you can see here, you will get an idea. Now many people may dislike this thing, but yes, we have taken that decision. Okay. Now I would like to tell you about the another space called BITS Pilani Heritage Gallery. This BITS Pilani Heritage Gallery in the library is meant for showcasing how BITS Pilani has evolved over the period of time, right from its Patashala days in 1901 to the present status of Institute of Eminence. And actually we had a lot of old photographs. I'll tell you here. We had, when I had joined the library almost about 6 years back, I could see a lot of old photographs which were dumped in one obscure corner of the library like this. This is actually actual scene of that. Okay, and these cartons actually had a lot of photographs of the very prominent leaders prior to the independence, like right from Jawaharlal Nehru, Vallabhbhai Patel, Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan, Vinoba Bhave, Dr. Rajendra Prasad. So many people, they used to come many a times to Pilani because of their close association with Dr. G.D. Birla, the founder of BITS Pilani. And there were so many such photographs which needed to be like they needed to be chronologically organized, revived, digitized, reprinted, and framed and displayed with a storyline for all the four campuses of BITS Pilani. We have four campuses: Pilani, which is a main place where I am working, and then we have campuses in Goa, Hyderabad, and Dubai. Okay, so we had to collaborate from with other campuses to get their photographs and get them framed and make it as a part of this particular gallery. So I will quickly take you through the gallery as a tour. You can see here, this is how we converted that space into a beautiful gallery, where now you can see the photographs which were catching dust and lying in those cartons are now beautifully hung on the walls with a storyline. Now this black and white acrylic sheets with letters embossed on them, the text embossed on them, they actually tell a story how it started, BITS Pilani, how it started. We got this storyline edited by the chief editor of Reader's Digest to bring in the quality of the story and interesting story. Okay, so just to take you some more corners of the library of this particular gallery, you can see here, this is how it looks, and these were lying loose in those in that particular section which I showed you. This is a college magazine which were lying loose. Actually, we got them nicely bound, and we had a beautifully embossed them on the spine and put them together. Okay, and this is Goa campus, Hyderabad campus, and the Dubai campus, and things like that. And this is the first floor, which I showed you the picture of the unorganized dumped collection. Is This is how now it is looking. We are working on this currently, and this particular space will definitely bring in a different kind of experience for our users, for our authorities, for our alumni, because lots of alumni keep on visiting the library, the institution, and everybody visits the library, and this space will now tell them the story of the BITS Pilani. Okay, so maybe in a few months time it will get inaugurated. Okay, so and now moving on to the next aspect which I talked earlier, to create relaxation spaces in the library is very, very important. If users have to spend a long stretch of time in a library, it is important to take study or work breaks to refocus or refuel. Okay, so therefore access to snacks and drinks is very, very essential, so that one can afford to put more time in their studies as well as for other activities in the library. They need not really go too far away just to have a cup of tea and come back wasting their time. So to save the time of the user, we thought, why cannot we start this? And we implemented self snack vending machine and the tea coffee vending machine and things like that. And we also put up a very nice LED screen there, displaying all discovery things, the science discoveries and technological discoveries and things like that is continuously going on there. And there is a very strict notice that is put up there, telling them how to use this particular area. If anybody throws any wrapper, or anybody's keeping a cup, a teacup anywhere, they will be immediately fined 100 rupees, okay, as a fine. So students have been briefed thoroughly during so many deliberations in the library with them, and now they are actually behaving very well. And even the people who are managing this particular space, they have been told to clean up this place at least 3 to 4 times during the day, okay, using all possible chemicals, not chemicals, but the detergents, and so that the insects and other things do not come. Okay, so we have taken utmost care of all this, and now, because of this particular relaxation space in the library, people throng to the library to have even tea, coffee, and all that. Let's go to the library to have a cup of tea, that kind of a thing. So automatically, there is a footfall that keep on going. Okay, now going forward, currently during this lockdown period, what we are working is, to create an ideation zone and a multimedia studio in the library. So this ideation zone next to the innovation zone, which I showed you, is one where the students are encouraged to form creative ideas and work towards crystallization of these ideas through sketching, prototyping, brainstorming, brainwriting, and using other ideation techniques. And here, the students can actually undertake many design thinking projects. And the aim is to achieve students' engagement in generating most practical and innovative ideas here, which culminate into better design solutions and strategies to develop new products. And this is immediately connected to innovation zone. So the initial thinking, initial idea, which is at a elementary, absolutely at a rudimentary stage, during that particular stage, people can get together here, try to give it a shape, and then move it on to the innovation zone to make it really happen. That's what it is. And multimedia studio also we are going to provide in the library. So there are quite a few user feedbacks that we receive, to talk about various areas in the library. I know that I'm slightly exceeding, but I thought it is important to show you such feedbacks. So this, Madan talks about the services of e-interview carols are at its best. And it was a nice experience with it, with no problems at all. And I'm so glad that the library provided it. So, and one professor from University of California, he says, what an inspiring and beautiful, inviting space to visit. Words are limited to describe my feelings, but somehow Satyam Shivam Sundaram keeps ringing in my mind. And Sagar, he interestingly writes something here, that in BITS you can find only three types of people. One, during the exams, people who study in their rooms, people who study in a computer center, and people who study in the library. Only three categories. So I have always belonged to the last category. That means the person who use the library for study. So library has been the most evolving place in the campus. Every time I went to the library, I would find some new thing that was introduced, ID scanning, blah, blah, blah. See, he goes on narrating and all that. So things like that. So I will not take you through all this one. But yes, these user feedbacks are pretty important. And just to conclude, the concept of user experience is indeed increasing in priority for academic libraries, and the collaborative learning in libraries is very, very important because the best learning happens when students are actively involved in a team project or research work, and this leads to a higher level of user experience of the libraries. And the destiny of the libraries is determined by the patrons through their use or non-use of the services. And the librarians have to be, proactive with a persistent passion to bring in innovative ideas to engage their resources and services to optimize, use, and exhibit their expertise in meeting ever-changing needs of the users to ensure return on investment. And we as librarians, we must not leave any stone unturned to build the image and reputation of the library and get noticed by the stakeholders, authorities, and keep our heads high. I recommend strongly to all my friends out there. Okay, so we are working in wonderful places, fortunately, in a dynamic world. Okay, so if we possess these qualities, they certainly speak of the characteristics of greater user experience in our libraries to enhance the reputation of the library and stay relevant. Okay, so finally, I would like to quote Sam Dimas, the college librarian emeritus at the Carleton College, USA. He says, in the recent years, we have reawakened to the fact that the libraries are fundamentally about people, how they learn, how they use information, how they participate in the life of a learning community. So as a result, we are beginning to design the libraries that seek to restore parts of libraries' historic role as an institution of learning, culture, and intellectual community. So thank you all very much. You all need to really pardon me if I have exceeded my limit. I'm sorry for that. And if there are any questions, I shall be more than happy to handle. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. We'll take a few questions now. The first question is, are there any demerits of having a collaborative learning space in the library?
Demerits, so far we have not come across any demerits, but it requires a lot of support when we have some new areas that are being created. And for example, in our case, innovation zone or maker space, that particular space requires a lot of technical knowledge of running that particular space. For example, how to use 3D printer. Okay, now if we do not know how to use 3D printer and how to come out with a prototype, then the entire exercise of creating that space is a futile. Okay, so to overcome this difficulty, we must have certain things in place so that that so-called demerit thing will vanish. So therefore, we created not only the students club who are trained very well in those areas, and also the collaboration with the faculty members who will guide them how to use, what are the difficulties and how they can resolve those things. See, these kinds of collaborations is not just with one person or one particular segment of the users. It is with many other users. There is a strong collaboration with many stakeholders in the library, and that will help you in overcoming these demerits.
Okay, thank you. Uh, the next question is that how do you handle your feedback? I mean, what are the methods that are used to get feedbacks from the users?
There are several methods that we use. One is physical. Okay, actually there is a feedback box. Okay, there is a proper box at the entrance of the library. But nowadays nobody would like to enter their feedback on using writing on a piece of paper and dropping it. That has reduced significantly. But on our interactive library portal, we have a very interesting interactive library portal, and there we have a communication panel. It is a this library portal is so interactive that it is not one-way communication, it is two-way communication. That means you can connect with the library through the library portal. So in that there is a communication panel, and in that communication panel, if they have any grievances, for example, to talk about good, bad, ugly about the library, they can actually go online and talk about either the services or the spaces or the facilities, infrastructure, and things like that. They can comment on anything. Okay, and back end at at an administrator's end, we come to know about what people are talking about, what complaints are there on a day-to-day basis. Okay, and there are people associated with each of these complaints in the library as a team member, and they actually are held responsible for addressing those concerns immediately. Okay, so that way it is very nicely streamlined. Okay, and another thing is there is a ongoing feedback with the library portal for three different categories of people, like faculty members, research scholars, and undergraduate and postgraduate students. It's an online feedback where there are 18 questions that are asked to the students or the users to answer. Okay, they are related to the collection, they are related to the services, they are related to the people. That means the quality of the staff members and things like that. And they are, and we encourage them to comment very frankly, like they need not hesitate to say that the library is very bad in a particular area, because I really thrive on the ugliness of the library rather than on the best thing about the library, because that ugliness I want to remove by taking a quick action and responding to the person, and whatever is really bad in the library has to be eliminated from there. So therefore these different platforms are really helping the library to make it like and the staff members are responsible for that. So we are getting a lot of feedback from the students.
Thank you, sir.
The next question is, what efforts from your side go on from your side to assemble a huge number of students or faculty to come over for any activity? Is it by announcement, notices, or do you adopt any other method?
Well, library is actually known in the campus for organizing so many events. Okay, so the events are very much in good number actually. Be it the online database training programs, be it things like World Book Day celebration and Children's Day celebration, Teachers Day celebration. You see, anything that gives us an opportunity to hold an event, we actually hold. And when it comes to marketing these events, we use many platforms. We actually come out with beautiful posters, and these posters are posted at different hostels. Actually, physically they are posted. Okay, and the library portal, it has got the running slides, and these running slides actually they are talking about the notification of the library. When somebody logs or even goes to the library portal, immediately they come to know what all things that are happening in the library as an ongoing thing, events or any activity or any communication that we want to make. And also through emails are root mails, they go to the people and things like that. So that way, the way of reaching out to the people, we adopt many things, and we have got so many LED screens in the library. Okay, and we post whatever events are there on the LED screens. Okay, so different sections of the library will have different this thing. So many LED, and the university campus wide also there are LED screens, not necessarily in the library. It could be in the VC's office entrance area. Our events even go there. Okay, and even the main faculty divisions, entrance, there are TV screens. So we send out communications through them.
So the next question is that while designing all these spaces or renovating these spaces, have you taken help from some designer or architect to design it in the user-friendly way, or maybe the differently abled friendly way? How did you manage the
Well,
design
when
of
it
these
comes to
spaces?
well, I can say that we can take the pride in saying that the library only managed the design. Whatever design that I have shown you on the PPT, actually we have designed ourselves here at BITS Pilani library team. So I was able to come out with a good number of design, but we took the consent of acceptance of that particular design by the team members and other stakeholders, and things like that. So yes, design, you need to have a good the carpenter, and you need to have some good designing concepts, and you can refer to some already available design concepts implemented elsewhere in leading universities, leading libraries, and things like that. You can always visit them. They will give you a lot of ideas and things like that. Okay, because library design is such that they need to be customized depending upon the kind of space that you have. Okay, so it does not come as a ready package for your available space. So whatever is the dimension of your space, you need to create your design according to that space. And in our case, we do not have an interior as designated body in the institute. We only create all those designs in the library. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Meghna, are there more questions we
Yeah.
can take?
Yes. Yeah. One last question. That sir, please, a participant is requesting to share some more information about research zone and saying that she
Come again, sir?
sharing some more facility. A participant has requested to share some more information about research zone and its facilities. She particularly wants
Oh,
to know
research zone.
about scholar's shelf.
Okay, a scholar shelf. Okay, they could see that. I appreciate that. Okay, surely. I mean, I can share that with you. I mean, later. I mean, is it required to be told now, or I can share it with you later?
So you can just brief about the research zone and its facilities, and the rest we can take it up later.
Yeah. You see, research zone primarily is meant to be used by the research scholars, isn't it? And their primary need is a very quiet, very decent place where they are not disturbed at all. Okay. So one of the things that they would like to really do is literature review. Whenever, especially the research scholars, whenever they come to the library, they primarily come to the library for literature review, not to do a hardcore research, because for hardcore research they will go to their laboratories or workshops wherever, but when they are in the library, they comes particularly for literature review. So one of the most important thing is that you need to have the necessary tools for them to use, or undertake literature review in best possible manner. Okay, so see, for example, in our case, we have a federated search engine. Okay, the discovery tool itself is a very important tool for them to narrow down their search and get very most precise search results on their given topic. The pinpointed information, they can get it from the this discovery tool. And what a very interesting activity we have done was, we sent out a mail to all HODs and library committee members and faculties to identify the most relevant the books that are available in the library, which are required for current research that is going on in the campus. Okay, So, what had happened prior to the establishment of this research zone, these books were a part of the usual collection in the library according to uh, the classification number. So they were, it was not like, these are the research books which are kept separately somewhere in the library. It was not like that. It was, they were merged with other rest of the collection. So we took the help of research scholars as well as the faculty members to identify such books related to their own research using the OPAC, and send us the list of such books so that we can pull them out from the rest of the collection and shift them to research zone. Now, under one roof, the most currently used books are now shifted to the research zone, and it's a dynamic. It's not like what we have put is will remain for 10 years or something like that. So because research keeps on changing, so we need to keep on working with the research scholars and things like that. Okay. I didn't have time today, otherwise, because I know that we have exceeded even now also. If I take more time in explaining all this, I could have spent some good amount of time in sharing with you the kind of the research alerts that we send out to the faculty members as well as research scholars. That is a very interesting initiative taken by the BITS Pilani, but it requires a separate session. So, making the space relevant to the people is one of the most important objective in terms of the furniture that is being used, how comfort, because when they sit there, they sit for a longer time. Okay. So the ergonomics of the furniture that we use is should be looked into so that they don't feel like going out, and things like that. And the research publications by the faculty members are also a part of that particular collection. Okay. And research tools like research methodologies, the survey methods, and various other research related tools are part of that collection. And we have put up very good posters as to how to do EndNote, how to use so many other research related tools online, are already kept there as a poster display and things like that. That research a scholar shelf is for them to keep their own material. That's all actually, but so that their material is safeguarded. Okay, things like that. But going ahead, we are now seeking their views as to what all more things that they want. Another good thing that we have kept there is a very big LED screen with video conferencing facility. Now, because of that, so many times the research scholars nowadays, and even library also, we connect with other research organizations to get what they want. Even to make the presentation by them like a classroom. If they are not studying, they can be used. It can be used as a the deliberation on a given research topic. So somebody can actually make a presentation using LED screen. So these things are very, very important. Okay. So we have to maintain the necessary requirements as required by the people using it at the end of the day. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, that's it.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, sir, for answering all the questions very patiently. So thanks a lot for sharing your experience to redesign the BITS Pilani library and making it into collaborative learning spaces which extensively engage the users. Your emphasis on the not only the quantitative metrics like downloads, number of books, etc., but the qualitative part of user experience is very, very enlightening to all of us. Your innovative ways to connect with the authorities as well as the users are highly appreciated. We thank you once again for sparing time and delivering this session, which was really very wonderful to see the BITS Pilani library and the makeover that you have really achieved in such a short span of time. We also got to know a very different side of you, that is the wonderful architect and a designer in you, apart from being an excellent manager and a librarian. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much, sir, for this session.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.